Hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today I just wanted to discuss a build. I'm sure everybody knows about this build. It is of course the most broken, or probably one of the most broken builds in this league, the Exploding Totems build. Most people have heard about this. Quite a lot of people are playing around with it. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a build that uses one of the new Crucible tree mods. This mod just makes your totems explode when they die, and it deals a huge amount of base damage. I think it's up to 600% on a two-handed weapon and 300% on a one-handed weapon. So it deals a huge amount of damage. It's quite difficult to actually scale up the damage because it's not spell damage or attack damage. You kind of need generic damage and you need gem levels to be able to scale it up. But you can play it in a variety of ways. You could do like elemental conversion, you can do poison. There's a lot of different ways to play it. Now, most people have heard about this build, but what a lot of people don't know about is that there's an objectively better version of this build that doesn't need a 6-link, doesn't need a 5-link, it doesn't even need the crafted bow, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So most of the versions of this build are using a 6-link bow or a 5-link bow, and they have the 600% Totem Explode mod. And it's a typical gem level crafted bow, so it's got some damage mods on there based on what type of build you're playing. Maybe you're playing poison, so it's got some like dot multi and faster poisons on it. Or if you're playing the elemental version of the build, it will have some other damage mods on there. And then it has gem levels, so it has the +1 to the level of socketed gems, and it has the crafted +2 to the level of socketed support gems. And then you need an Empower, ideally Empower 4. And if you have this bow and you socket in your gem with the level 4 in power, you're going to get +7 gem levels on your totem skill. So assuming you have a level 21 rejuvenation totem, you are going to gain a level 28 gem socketing it in this build. And that's pretty strong. But you see, there's actually a much cheaper version of this build, and I think it is a lot better actually. And it can scale a lot better too. And it frees up so many things and makes the build so much simpler. And it's a really easy item. It's actually currently a 1 chaos or less item. And we're talking about March of the Legion. Now these boots have been around for a long time. They've been used in loads of different builds. They've been changed a lot actually in the past leagues. And what these boots have is a modifier that gives you +5 to the level of socketed aura gems. That is on a max roll. It can roll between 3 and 5. Right now on Trade League, there is so many +5 of these, and they're all 1 chaos or less. And importantly, the rejuvenation totem has a tag on it, an aura tag, and that means you can put the rejuvenation totem in these boots and gain +5 gem levels just by socketing in these boots. And well, the reason why this works is because in the setup for the damage links of this build, there's no real way to scale the damage within the links, and the only important links in the setup are the rejuvenation totem skill itself, the trap support, which makes your totem spawn from a trap, and then the multiple trap support and the cluster trap support. Those are the 4 important gems. The charged trap support isn't that important. It gives you a bit of trap throwing speed. It gives you frenzy and power charge generation. These things are not very important. You can get them elsewhere. But the 4 that I just talked about there are the important ones. And of course, the Empower is important as well. But you need that in the bow because that's where 6 of your gem levels come from. But in the March of the Legion, you don't need that because you're getting all your gem levels from this item. Now, because these are boots though, you can go one step further. You can actually corrupt these boots and you can get really strong modifiers. Now these can roll +1 to socketed gems, +2 to socketed aura gems, +2 to socketed AoE gems, and you can even double corrupt these and get 2 of those modifiers. So even with 1 corrupt implicit, you can get +7 gem levels on the March of the Legion boots. And we're in a best case scenario, you can get the +2 to socketed aura gems and +2 to socketed AoE gems, and that's going to give you +9 gem levels to your socketed rejuvenation totem. And that's going to give you, with a level 21 gem, you're already going to be sitting at 30 gem levels just by socketing in these best scenario boots. Obviously, that is the best case scenario, so let's just take a look price-wise on a Trade League basis. As I told you, the +5 version of these boots, right now, the cheapest on trade is around 1 fusing, but most of them are 1 chaos or less. But the cheapest +7 pair of boots, so that is either with +2 AoE or +2 aura, starts at 25 Chaos on Softcore Trade League. And as a comparison, so to get the same amount of gem levels in the bow setup, you would need a level 4 in power. And level 4 in power right now on Trade League is 4.6 divines. So that is a massive difference in price between these two setups. And obviously, this is massively more SSF friendly because you're much more likely to have a pair of March of the Legion boots than an Empower in SSF. And if you have multiple pairs of March of the Legion, you can even consider double corrupting them yourself. There's also the argument for hardcore. If you're playing hardcore, you probably want to play a one-handed version of this build with a shield. And that means that you can actually run the March of the Legion boots and still get a huge amount of gem levels for your gem, which scales the damage massively. And you can still run your shield and be a lot more defensive. So let's take a look at a comparison of the totem life on different gem levels. So first of all, we'll compare the build that most people are running, which is the bow version of the build. And that has a level 4 in power with a level 28 gem. That's assuming that you're using a level 21 gem to begin with, and you're gaining plus 7 gem levels from the bow. At monster level 86, that's a totem life of 8,501. And of course, the plus 7 pair of March of the Legion, which would be a plus 5 and a corrupt implicit of plus 2, would give you the same life on the totem. But the thing is, if you're using the March of the Legion boots instead of the bow, it frees you up massively to use whatever you want in your weapon slots. You don't have to use the bow anymore. You can consider using a staff, for example, a non-war staff, so a normal staff can roll plus 2 to all skill gems. And you can also get the 600% Totem Explode mod on here. So that will give you another plus 2 gem levels for a total of 30 gem levels. And if you have 30 gem levels, your totem life is going to be 10,828. And you could also do 2 one-handed weapons. So for example, if you're playing poison, you could use Rune Dagger, which has some really nice mods for poison, such as dot multi, poison damage, and faster poisons, things like that. And you can get plus 1 to all skill gems on each of the daggers, and then you could also get the 300% explode mod on each of the daggers, which will give you the same explode. Or if you wanted to play a more tanky setup, you could just play the one-handed. You're still going to gain a gem level out of that, because you can get the plus 1 to skill gems based on whichever weapon you choose. If you're playing the elemental version, best case scenario is going to be 2 scepters or 1 scepter. You're going to gain 40% damage just from the implicit on the scepter. Then you can get plus 1 at gems. You can get various damage mods, penetration and things like that on the scepter itself. And so in a best case scenario, let's say we have the plus 9 setup with the boots. You're going to be getting plus 9 gem levels from the boots, and the gem is already 21, so we're going to have 30 gem levels. And then let's say we're running 2 one-handed or the staff with plus 2. We're going to have a gem with level 32, and it's going to have a totem life of 12,206. And then with a plus 1 amulet on top, you're going to get up to a level 33 rejuvenation totem. And it's going to have a totem life of 12,956. And you can just see there, in the best case scenario, when you have a level 33 gem, compared to the level 28 gem, you're going to have over 50% more base life on your totem. So just before you even start scaling the damage, you have so much more life to scale. And that's just going to be crazy, crazy damage. Really, really insane damage. This is why this build does so much damage. Just look at those numbers, and we're talking about, 12,000 life or close to 13,000 life, scaling up like 600%. I mean, there's ridiculous base damage numbers. Absolutely crazy. So as I mentioned, the poison version of this build could go 2 rune daggers. That would probably be the best option if you want to go with this setup. And then the elemental version could go for multiple scepters or a staff. And because you're not using a bow, you could also consider using things like the Obliteration Wand if you wanted to go down the chaos damage or poison avenue. And the Obliteration Wand is absolutely insane because it just gives you a huge amount of fizz as extra chaos. Personally, I've been playing this build on a chieftain. I'm in hardcore solo self-found, so I want to play with a shield and play a more defensive setup. So I'm using a scepter with the 300% mod. And I have personally double corrupted a pair of the March of the Legion boots. And they were a plus 4 pair to begin with. I don't have many divines, pretty divine starved league. But I managed to hit a plus 2 mod on there. So I currently have a plus 6 pair of March of the Legion boots, which is really, really nice. boosting up my gem levels massively. I'm still in the really early stages of the build personally. Mapping is okay. It's definitely not the best mapping build, as most people have mentioned when they've been talking about this build. Herald of Ashclear helps it out quite a bit, but mapping is kind of lackluster, but the damage is really good, as you all know. Anyway, guys, that's it. I just wanted to talk about this version of the build because I think a lot of people don't know about it. And I'm sorry in advance if the prices of March of the Legion just booms as a result of this video. Hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully people can kind of play around with this a little bit. But as I said, you know, you can grab a pair of +5s for like 1 chaos. You can corrupt them yourself with vows and try and hit +2. Or you could double corrupt them and try and go for that big +9. And good luck if you're doing that. Hopefully your vows pay off. Of course, good luck if you're playing solo self-found as well. Hopefully you're able to get March of the Legion and corrupt them as well. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are having fun in the Crucible League. And as always, stay tuned and stay safe.